Alright, good morning everybody. Just trying to get everything sorted out here. Yeah, sorry if it said that it was supposed to start early. Like, YouTube's live control panel, like the part you actually like set everything up from, is super touchy. Like, so like there's the streaming software you're actually using, and then you connect to YouTube Live, and sometimes you have to set like, do you transition to live from the streaming software, or do you do it from the live control panel? And then the control panel is just super touchy, because if you set it up to like manually transition, and then you go into the live control panel, even then it'll still tell you like you're trying to schedule a stream, which is not at all what you're trying to do. You're just trying to set go live so you don't immediately start going live and stuff. But nonsense out of the way, let's actually get to it. Hello to everybody saying hey. Last time we left off with a couple of places to explore before we moved on, and those are found by talking to Anivia, which I believe we have on the map here. Yeah. So if you talk to Anivia here and there, she can actually open up a few optional areas on the Act 1 map, which we're going to go check out before we wrap up Act 1. Because these little optional areas that she can tag for you actually have some pretty unique items, and in one case it actually is a super handy kineticist like helm. So first place we're going to is the Silken Thread Atelier. Right after we fight these enemies.
Can we retreat already?
Wow. Guess they had 9 health. Alright, so the good news is, though, since we passed the only part of Act 1 that is timed, which leads to that battle that doesn't actually, like, affect whether or not you get a game over or anything, we've got all the time in the world to do the rest of this.
This will be quick! I'm gone.
Alright, somebody in the chat says, I'm a huge fan of kineticists and want my first character to be an elemental engine, but I struggle with picking Mythic Path. Offhand, I haven't really like done much with like what path would go well with what class type of stuff. Like I've done a little bit obviously, but not a ton. For kineticists, honestly, like any of them would be good. Trickster would get you a ton of sneak attack damage and stuff, and given that kineticists are already a bit of a glass cannon, that could be a pretty fun way to go. Beyond that, Demon has a couple of morphs that I think might be interesting, but personally I'd probably go either Azada for their just ridiculous stuff, and probably Trickster otherwise. You could probably make a couple others work. The Mythic Paths are pretty freeform. But personally, I'd probably lean into Trickster for the sneak attack damage.
Now, what is that?
Alright, so here we are at the Silken Thread.
I hope you appreciate this.
We do it my way.
You need me. Good.
I'm here. Where else would I be?
Well,
Yes.
Ah, whoops, I cast
My
Bull
tail
just
is restless.
made drummer on the wrong person. It figures.
only you
Yeah.
deserve my obedience.
You can handle them, right?
So we're still on normal difficulty, but it's worth mentioning that Hurricane Bow is a very high value spell early on in the game. adds some extra dice damage to your rolls.
What do we have here?
There is no
Am I
info
not?
on the Swarm or Gold Dragon paths yet. Like, obviously I know that they're going to be in the game, but that is about all I know. Don't have any information on it besides that. They are available in an act just past what you can access in early access.
I'll prove I'm the best. Save the last one for me. I'll rip you apart!
Hey, Felix. Okay, so this is our big kineticist item that we can find here, which is why it's worth talking to Anivia to get the location of it. So this will make the damage dealt by your kineticist simple energy blast 1 die 6 points, and the simple physical blast by 1 die 6 plus 1, plus your composite energy blasts, which are like the combinations, will deal 2 die 6 extra damage, while composite physical blast will deal an additional 2 die 6 plus 2 damage. So that's a huge helmet for a kineticist to pick up in Act 1. Could I show off turn-based? Yeah, I suppose I could. Honestly, I haven't messed with it too much. But we'll level everybody up real quick. Oh, so it's... Yeah, so we still need to pick up combat mobility as our feat. So I think we get 2 this level from being a sword saint. So we'll pick up combat mobility, and then probably go ahead and pick up slashing grace finally. And then for our spells, we don't wear armor, so effortless isn't very good. We'll probably go ahead and pick up Cat's Grace, as that's pretty great for us. And then Frigid Touch would be pretty solid, because we can use that with for combat casting.
We should move.
Oh man, yeah, I gotta put a little more stats on him to actually use that though. But for the time being, loot everything and then keep leveling. I believe that's the same Kingmaker item, yeah. Alright, so we'll go ahead and grab Selective Channel. That would be pretty handy for her to have, if we plan on continuing to use her. And we'll pick up Divine Weapon Bond. Then for Camellia, I think she already has weapon. Oh, no, she doesn't. Yeah, we'll go ahead and give it to her. That's a pretty straight upgrade for her at the moment, since she'll only be using rapiers. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up weapon focus longbow with her, since that's what she'll be using the most. I was thinking about taking rapid shot, but I don't really want to take the minus to the rolls right now, and it's not really necessary. And then weapon focus will give us extra. And then for our spells, Defense vitals and probably go ahead and pick up Cat's Grace for her too.
I crave your command.
Something wrong?
And for a wool jiff. Tips for how to build a character in a party. Well, for individual characters, if you want to check out my class guides for Pathfinder, that would be pretty useful for like how each class actually works. That's a good place to start. Beyond that, you typically want someone to soak up the... I mean, to be clear, with Pathfinder, it really depends on the difficulty you're playing and how you should approach that. But just for like a regular party composition would typically be like a high AC value fighter to soak up damage and stuff. At least one support caster, one DPS caster, and the rest just any kind of DPS you can fit in. That would be like a standard party composition for you. Yeah, September 2nd definitely can't come fast enough. Honestly, forgot what I was doing here. Okay, so Ember needs a talent. Combat casting wouldn't be too bad for her since she'll be doing a decent amount of casting during combat. But that said... yeah, I think that's what we're going to go with is combat casting. She's going to be doing a lot of healing and stuff mid-combat. Or at least that's the idea anyway. And then for spells... I think I'm going to pick... I don't really want a dog. I'll go ahead and grab sleep. And then for... the other spell she gets, probably pick up Molten Orb. He does a lot of fire spells, as you can see over here. Alright. Get everybody's spells sorted out, and then we will be good to go. I think for his one level 2 spell slot, I think we'll go ahead and grab Cat's Grace for the time being. Then we can throw probably just an extra shield down. That wouldn't be bad. Alright, we'll go ahead and grab protection from Chaos Evil. That'll be handy here in a bit. And then for her level 3, I have to use her domain spot for magical resistance. Thinking we'll just pick up Animate Dead. There's a very specific fight that'll be useful for coming up. But to be fair, I could move them around. I'm just lazy about doing that. Alright. Scorching Ray's actually probably not going to be super useful. I think we'll pick another cast of Small Elemental wouldn't be too bad. Okay, and then she's spontaneous, so she gets all of her stuff regardless. Alright, so let's actually move on. Have I found the path yet? Which path would that be? Oliver Stone asks, are you planning to stream any other games after this? I am really keen for a Fallout New Vegas video from you. Yeah, I don't know that I'll be streaming Fallout New Vegas, but I'll eventually be getting that review done. That said, like the next month is actually going to be super busy for a variety of reasons. For starters, there's like 3 different CRPGs launching in September that I'm planning on covering, which is Wrath of the Righteous, obviously, first and foremost. Encased launches like a week after that, and then Game of Deck launches later in the month. Black Geyser goes into early access on the 26th, so I'll be fairly busy for the immediate future, but yeah, I'll eventually be streaming other stuff and the like. Alright, so for now we're going to go check out the other optional area that you can easily miss, and that is Topaz Solutions. Off the top of my head, I don't remember if there's anything good in there. Mostly I just remember the diadem over at the Silken Thread. Okay, another one sure here.
I am yours to command.
Okay, there's a succubus too. Nice. Alright. The sure is kind of whatever, but that succubus is really annoying. Or at least they can be.
Soot is restless.
It's time
I
to
wonder
act.
why.
Rely on me.
Alright.
You need me. Good.
I won't let you hurt my friends.
Wow, and all of them went straight for that sure, which is not even remotely the closest enemy. Yeah, succubuses can be really dangerous. There's only like a handful of them you'll actually encounter in the first act, but they're one of the stronger demons you can come across in the first act. And with their charm person, they can be super annoying if you let them be. That's why I usually try to kill them first. So, when it comes to evading like random encounters, by the way, what you need is somebody in, I believe it's camouflage, but like that actually affects the encounters you'll come across on the world map, like, you know, when you randomly bump into things. And that is like the check you'll roll against failing to evade them or not. And we just keep failing them here lately. Which I assume is because we lost our Defender's Heart battle, and I imagine that like
throat out.
raised the DC of it a bit. I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, but ever since that we have failed almost every single random encounter check, and we do actually have someone in that spot, so just an observation. Okay, continuing on our path. Okay, so these are part of a puzzle. I know for sure that they are. I do not know what the solution to that puzzle is, but I would recommend coming here to grab these. The puzzle itself is pretty easy to find. I just haven't messed with it much, and I haven't bothered to look it up either, so I don't know if anybody else has solved it yet, but there is a puzzle you can use those for later. Alright. There are some fights coming up here, and I just want to make sure that we've got everybody that we can. Yeah, I'd rather put mage armor on her, and that'll invalidate it.
Where do you want me?
I'll take care of it.
You can trust me.
I'll prove I am the best.
Ask nicely.
I crave your commands.
Don't mind me.
Trust in yourself.
Okay.
Only you deserve my obedience. I'll bathe in your blood. No match for me.
And in here, we can come across some mimics.
Flesh wound.
If my guys would stop standing around like idiots, that would be good.
weapon!
Alchemist had a ridiculous amount of health. But that is ultimately my bad, because they just started standing around after they killed that one. If I'm not mistaken, there is a second mimic in here. And this is where we can get this crossbow, which I believe is for oracles, which makes it for a day rend, basically. Yeah, the light crossbow of Oracle's Misery. So this makes a +2. Well, it's a +2 light crossbow, and it gives critical hits if confirmed by an oracle. The target has to pass a will saving throw or suffer from the same effect as the oracle's curse at level 1, without any of its benefits. So basically it just gives whatever oracle you have, like the curse that they pick, and it confers it to the enemy without the benefit. Which is a weirdly specific item, but I thought it was pretty cool. I am playing a Sword Saint Magus.
I will fight.
There's our second mimic.
I'll cut you wide open.
Tactical retreat! No?
There we go. I was worried I might lose somebody on that one. Okay, answering some more questions here. Yeah, is Camilla good as solo healer support? I use her primarily for melee DPS. She has some good support spells that come in pretty handy, like the healing, for instance. And then, for the most part, though, I use her as melee DPS where I can.
Open your heart.
Not that she's amazing at it, but that is kind of the gist. And then you can start like enchanting her weapons and stuff to give her extra damage later if you really want to like micromanage it. But she does pretty well overall. She's probably one of the more effective companions you get, at least right at the very beginning. Hold on just a second, guys. Yeah, that alchemist is a real pain. Okay, so those are the two optional areas. So we're gonna head back to Defender's Heart and rest, so we clear our main guy's death door condition, which we'll save it real quick because a bad random encounter would not go our way. But we're gonna head back to Defender's Heart, which is where we have to go next anyway to advance to the Grey Garrison. And we will also try to rest up. Plus everybody's getting fatigued at this point as well. Yeah, so hopefully this won't be too bad.
We are the light. They
Yeah, just
are the
hold
darkness.
this. Onward. Let's get wrecked by random encounters. How does healing work in Pathfinder? Basically, you get a bunch of healing spells for the most part, and those are for combat, and then outside of that, you're going to want to rest, which is the same rest as most other tabletop games. You can rest until the point where you're all healed up, either through natural or healing spells you have available to you. Death's Door, which is basically if your character goes down with the Death Door condition, you'll just flat out die. That can only be healed in like your hub areas. And we need to talk to Erebeth to start the Grey Garrison stuff anyway. Sweet. Alright, so now we'll handle some inventory stuff because we are about to be loaded down with items from the Grey Garrison.
I do what I must.
Okay. What can we get rid of? That's not super useful. despite being unique, that has literally no benefits beyond being a glaive, so we're going to sell that. That's just regular +1 hide, which is honestly already pretty useless considering most of our guys can't even use armor. We don't actually need those, so we can get rid of them even though they're not worth anything because they're just taking up weight. Wand to remove disease. Pretty sure we have a character that can cast that. Go ahead and toss that. And I think that'll do it for the time being. We don't really need anything because we already have tons of stuff as far as potions and scrolls and stuff go. Alright, so now that we are ready to go, we can talk to Irabeth to advance to the Grey Garrison, which is like the final bit of Act 1. Alright, and then we can catch her up on stuff that we haven't actually asked her about yet, but we've already covered like 90% of that, so we will head to the Grey Garrison. Do I think the game is ready for release in September? For at least what is playable, yeah. Patch, or the Phase 3, it brought in some bugs that they got fixed pretty quickly. And then beyond that, it's mostly a pretty smooth experience. Now, I will say that there is stuff beyond what I can play that obviously I haven't messed with, and I have no idea how that's going to pass. So hopefully it'll be good beyond that, but the early game I think will be in a good place at the very least. Alright, so we start out in the basement of the Grey Garrison, and if we actually had all of our allies with us, which we could have had by either successfully defending Defender's Heart, or by doing it so like the act so fast that we didn't have to defend it, we get all of the allies and stuff that we picked up on our way here. Which is like the Thieflings, potentially the Inquisitors, or the Desnans. We can take that scabbard to Irabeth. That's a little side quest you can pick up just by grabbing that item. So like, yeah, the Desnans, the Thieflings, and the Inquisitors can all come in and help you do stuff, and they will do various things for you. If you save the Knights of the Flame, I think it was, something like that, the guys that are helping you out with the storyteller, like the people that were on the pyre in the library earlier, which I realize means nothing to the people watching this right now, potentially. But if you save those guys, they'll cast a buff on you right at the start of the Grey Garrison, which is pretty handy as well. Yeah, like just point blank, the chapters that weren't available in beta, like point blank, they'll just probably have more bugs simply for the lack of publicly available testing. Like I'm sure they have a QA department working on it in some capacity, but reality is that no matter how dedicated a QA team is, that ultimately is not going to be more than probably a few dozen people in most cases. And compare that to, you know, literally potentially tens of thousands of people in a beta. That's going to give you a very different quality of data. So, I mean, just realistically, I think it would be expected to see some bugs in the late game where they weren't accessible in the beta.
I still got it.
Nice. That would have been a good fight to buff up a little beforehand. But honestly, I forgot they were up here. So, now I know it's just past that door, and we'll definitely buff before we go through there, because I always remember those two. And then everything else, we'll just loot real quick. And that door is locked, I believe, yeah. Alright. So we can either go up the stairs right away, or we can go down this way, and we're going to go down this way to keep exploring a bit, because we'll wind up coming back. We'll explore everything before we're done, but there's like a path I generally take.
We'll make
Okay.
things right.
So we will heal up you real quick.
Yes.
Which Mythic Path am I aiming for in this playthrough? Honestly, I doubt we'll get there in time for this particular stream before the game launches, and then I might have some other stuff planned, so we'll see. For this playthrough in particular, if we get there, I will probably go either Demon or potentially Trickster, because I like those two personally, even though they're definitely not the favorites all around by any means.
My skills are absolute.
I heed the voice of the spirits.
I will help where I can.
Nice. Okay, now we're gonna buff everybody up real quick.
Yes.
I'm here. Where else would I be?
I am yours. Well,
I think we're gonna go frost damage. Then we'll save our animate dead stuff for
A
later.
bright future awaits us.
We'll save that for the moment.
I'm
We'll
always
cast
ready.
shield with you. Also throw on frost. Give it a save and we'll get going here. Okay, so right past this door should be to, or at least right through here anyway. Oh my god, I'm thinking of the wrong room again. It's up the stairs, my bad. Yeah, right over here. This is what I was thinking of. Okay. So these two can be very annoying. These Wormlex.
let me draw the first blood.
Yeah. So we got them pretty quick because we were all buffed up there. But they have really annoying spells they can cast if they actually manage to get them off. What is level 0 spells? Not familiar with D&D rules. They are either cantrips or orisons, and basically it's just spells you can cast without having to spend a spell slot. So an orison is typically basically the same thing as a cantrip, but it is the divine magic version. And then cantrips are just low-level spells that you can cast for free, basically, would be the simplest explanation. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna step out here, and as I recall correctly, this can get a little loud, so let me know if I need to turn it down. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Alright.
They'll beg and tear your throat out.
Oh, that sucks. She missed. Not gonna matter. I'll shoot her in a second anyway.
No match for me.
So, with that little fight we were just in, that bottleneck right there was a wizard just past the bottleneck, or a character, whatever, that was casting fire spells at us, and he managed to put Tslm down. My initial thought was to have Ember throw a spell at him, but that spell missed because dude made his save. So instead I had to have Windoog shoot him in the face. Because while he missed people for the most part, Tslm caught the brunt of that.
You can trust me.
With her face.
I like
Yes. Together we stand.
Okay, and then we're kind of blocked in, if my memory serves, and we wind up having to go down these other
I
stairs.
do what I must.
Yeah. Okay, and now at this point we're kind of retracing our steps from the first time we were here at the beginning of the act. Ah.
Do not fear. Do not waver.
I'll rip you apart!
The cultists that can cast negative channel are super annoying. Because like they always put them in a place where it's actually hard to reach them, and then they wind up getting it off at least a couple times before you can actually kill them. Pretty annoying.
Save the last one for me.
Ah, man.
They'll beg me to stop!
I don't remember there being that many dretches in this room. Alright, so lore religion check.
I think I did it.
This depicts the feats of strength by Omen. Yeah. So I don't know what clicking on these actually does, by the way. Like, there's gonna be several of these throughout this great garrison. And like, it shows it doing something, but like I never see a buff or anything from that, so I have no idea what that actually does. Uh-oh. So, when do you get the third mythic level? It is at the end of Act 2, beginning of Act 3. And then, somebody's wondering if the Lich Mythic Path is actually better for a monk martial class than a wizard. Offhand, I'm not sure. There's so much variety to the classes and stuff, and I haven't had too much time to like actually go through and do every single one of them by any means. So I imagine those are questions everybody will get answers to pretty soon, though.
My tail is restless.
We must stop this war. There is no hope, only us. The gods have abandoned. What was he saying just
Yes.
now? Wanna play together?
The release date is September 2nd.
I'm gone.
So these guys aren't immediately hostile if you don't attack them. But obviously we're going to attack them.
Where do you want me? You'll make a fine trophy.
We finally got some sneak attack damage in, jeez.
A trivial task.
I see something over there.
We do it my way.
Alright, so there's more magic essence. We still need 2 more.
What a failure.
We will win this war.
Failed our athletics check there and took some damage.
Follow if you dare.
I found, something.
What's on your mind? I wonder.
See if she can disarm that trap without aggroing people so we don't wind up running through it.
I am helpful, am I not?
Sweet.
I'll watch your back.
I'm sure they
There
made
they
us
are.
work
Where'd
hard,
they go?
right?
Okay. Oh yeah, somebody mentioned the console release. I don't know if everybody saw, but they announced that it would be coming to consoles on sometime in March 2022. Which they announced a while ago it was coming to consoles, but we didn't have like anything close to a date. So this room sucks right here. It's real easy to get bottlenecked in that door, and one of these guys is an alchemist, and he will just absolutely destroy you if you get caught right there.
My friends.
The spirits demand your blood.
Mere flesh wound.
I don't know if we're going to be able to heal him in time, to be honest.
Nope. This happened.
Ah, there.
I can't die. How could this happen?
Yeah, see, this alchemist is ridiculous.
This is how it feels.
Don't worry about me.
I think that's pretty much it. I think we're going to have to reload on this one.
Ouch!
Not like this.
Ugh. But that's alright. We will try the tried and true method of just spamming a bunch of spawns in there. Yeah, I hate that room. That alchemist is ridiculous. Because he has a ton of guys with him. They bottleneck them all right at that door.
Surrender or else!
So what we'll do is use Camilla's Animate Dead and just throw them all into the room. And let them take the brunt of it. And hopefully clear out a bunch of his guys first.
Is that a trap? It might be a trap.
I'm gone.
And this time I'll save right in front of the door too.
That was easy.
Might be trap, might be treasure.
Yeah, turn-based mode is good
help where
in
I can.
some specific fights for sure, but you know, it's turn-based mode, so
Yes.
it kind of is what it is, really. It definitely makes some fights easier, though.
I'll watch your back.
Watch and learn.
So I want to disarm that trap before I engage those guys, because I don't want to run over it.
I hope you appreciate this.
I'll prove I'm the best.
They will break against our resolve.
Okay. Oh, jeez. Alright, so...
Well,
Save real quick before we do anything.
open your heart to me.
Right?
So now we got all those animate dead in there doing work. Now we'll go ahead and fall in other thing.
Tactical retreat! No! Don't! It's all your fault!
Pain is excruciating. This is how it feels.
Don't worry about me.
Come on, really?
They'll beg you.
There we go. Jeez. That was ridiculous. Belted decks, always nice. Yeah, I hate that fight. That's really annoying.
Ha! A trivial task.
Truth be told, you don't actually have to do that fight at all. Like, it's not necessary. And on unfair, like on unfair difficulty, that might be one of the fights I go out of my way to avoid. But obviously we're gonna rest up because now we have Death's Door, and it might actually be worth reloading that, to be honest. So I really don't want to deal with Death's Door. At least not this early, because we still got a lot of fighting to go. Which I think is what I'm gonna do.
What's on your mind? I wonder.
Okay, so this time we'll try the Animate Deads.
My knee.
Yes!
Open your heart to me.
No, hey, Orama.
Well, I think we're just gonna move on, because honestly, I don't think anybody wants to see me do that 20 times until I get it right.
I'm gone. We do it my way.
No, what is that? Ah, not this time.
So this is this trap right here. If you have the Thieflings with you, they'll actually disarm this one for you. It's got a really high DC.
This one was beyond me.
So I think what we'll do is be very mean and yeah. It killed them all together. Holy crap. Forgot how much damage that did. Yeah, so if you have the Thieflings with you, they'll actually get rid of that. It might... Do I have to pass that DC check? Is that what it was? Or the Knowledge World one?
A trivial task.
Ah, not this
Nah,
time.
still not gonna do it. Alright, well now you see what happens if you get on that way too. If you have the Thieflings with you, they'll disarm it for you though. Okay. Time to actually start doing something and stop reloading. So in here is pretty fun.
I'm gone.
So we have a succubus that has basically enthralled a bunch of crusaders here. And she has one of them pluck out his own eyes. We haven't picked any Mythic Path or anything yet. We're not nearly that far. Okay, we can, if we pass a check, convince a couple of these guys to help us, but we failed it. So, they're not too dangerous. I mean, one of them's literally blind, so... The succubus is really the only dangerous thing in the room. Okay, so this is a puzzle, these statues right here. You can find hints to it throughout the Garrison, like through the books and stuff, and like these little scrolls and things that you'll find. So I have a picture on my phone saved of it. Because I get tired of reading these things. Let me get it pulled up here. Yes, I believe it is... 1... Let's do it backward. Hit the button. There we go. There it is. Did it the wrong side first. So there's not too much back here, to be honest. There is mostly just weapon racks. However, one of them has a +1 something on the back of it, I believe. Yeah, here it is. The +1 flail. I believe that and a falchion. I think that's it. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so Flail of Light Burst deals an additional 1d6 positive energy damage. That's pretty good. And then the Cold Iron. I don't remember that flail being back here. That might be new with this phase. Alright, and then we head through this door to carry on. And that is going to bring us past the trap in the hallway over there.
Here.
The one that absolutely destroys you if you step onto it.
I am helpful, am I not?
Catching up on chat real quick. Alright. Go ahead and save again. If I'm not mistaken, there's a Cambion through this door, or at least one of these doors. I'm pretty sure that's this room. No, it must be the one in front. Oh, no, yeah, there he is. Yeah, that was weird. He's distracted, though, and won't notice you until you get real close or attack him.
Don't hold back!
I won't let you hurt my friends.
Which means he's pretty easy to kill, because you can catch him off guard. That said, I don't really think there's anything in this room worth grabbing. Okay. Get over here.
Open your heart to me.
A shot? Tear your throat out!
World in crimson.
Okay, so this door right here leads back to the area that we were in when we first walked in. And then through here, there's two Vermalex, or whatever they're called.
Where do you want me? No match for me. They'll beg me to stop! I'll rip you apart!
We do
All
it
right.
Might be
my
trap.
way.
Might be treasure.
That'll lead you to a secret room that gives you some lockpick tools and stuff. Nothing crazy, but worth mentioning, I guess. Alright, and then we are going to rest right here before we go on upstairs and continue on.
Vagrant, you sleep on the street, wear rags, and all of your friends are beggars. There's dirt and disease all around you. You belong in an infirmary.
Camellia is awful to Ember during camp dialogue. Like, it gets way worse than that. That wasn't even that bad. Oh, whoops. My green screen's kind of moving around. Must have hit it with my chair. Okay. All rested up here. And now on to the second floor. So this is where it starts to get really fun. So those are just shures. We should be fine just attacking those, honestly. Wow, I got a big crit on Sela. Jeez.
I will help where I can.
That was really the only damage we took, but she took a pretty big hit right there. They only got her once and they took like 2/3 of her health. Okay. Forget what's in this room enemy-wise.
Follow if you dare.
Okay, yeah, okay, there wasn't anything. I was like, I couldn't remember if there was any enemies in there or not. This is another one of the Iomade things we can interact with, which I believe somebody in the chat said they think it cures corruption if you rest too many times, which I suppose that makes sense, because it might take you a while to clear this dungeon. Alright, so we're gonna go up here. We're gonna try going through this door. There's a ton of enemies in this room though, but it's a pretty lucrative room to go through. Now, if we did the Trickster Pass stuff, we'll see this happen. Which clears a bunch of enemies for you. Alright, then that will unlock one of the doors to the main path that was blocked off. Which gives us a little more freedom to move around. And then, despite this being magical, or like having this little rune on it or whatever,
Well,
I know you can lockpick this, you just have a very low chance of success.
not this time.
So, even though it says sealed with magic, like you can 100% lockpick that. I've seen, like I've been able to do it before. Which is strange. Oh, almost missed this chest over here. Alright. We're gonna give this a shot. This is a tough room, to be honest. But, like a lot of tough rooms, has very good rewards.
What's on your mind? I wonder. So, she right here, she drops that scythe she's carrying, and it's pretty cool. Not that we have anybody that uses a scythe, but worth mentioning, I suppose. Now, if you had the Inquisitors with you, like if you saved the Inquisitors, they will help you with this particular fight if you have them.
A mere flesh wound.
Okay. You need to back up before you die. Mela,
I'll
we'll
cut
attack
you
that
wide
locust
open.
swarm. There we go. There we go. Okay, if we can kill these rangers, we'll be in good shape. Nobody died, but we took a ton of damage. Which, actually, all things considered, is pretty solid. Yeah, Sela was the only one that went down. Nice. Okay, so this is the key to the door, I believe, if you couldn't lockpick it. And then she drops her scythe, an amulet, a bunch of scrolls. So the scythe is the dark glowing scythe. It is a +2 scythe that will deal an additional 1d3 negative energy damage, and the target has to pass a reflex saving throw or suffer an additional 1 negative energy damage each round for however many rounds. So very good scythe if you have somebody using a scythe early on. Josh Johnson says he made it to a live stream, so you did. Nice to have you. Yeah, there are some pretty great fights here, honestly. Just overall, I believe you already have 2, yes. Keep passing those around. I think we'll give our natural armor to Sela, since she's kind of our tank anyway. That'll bring her armor class up. And then
A bright future awaits us.
I think we're in pretty good shape otherwise. Gotta heal everybody up here.
Something wrong?
This war must end.
Yes. Yes.
Who, me?
Alright, just clearing all the loot before we move on. Now, I believe, yeah, there's a hidden door right there,
I'm off.
which leads to more loot.
I hope you appreciate this.
Which this will give us this heavy pick, which isn't that great, but you can get it. And I believe Jeslin's key opens this door, if my memory serves. Nope. What does that open? I know I've gotten that door open before, but off the top of my head, I can't remember what does it.
I'm gone.
So there's the elven notes that the storyteller asked us to grab. Not looting everything. Like, yeah, most of the non-magical stuff is only worth like a couple of gold a piece, so it's really not worth grabbing. Because, you know, carry weight. Okay, so got 2 babaos there. We'll back up real quick. They don't have a ton of health, but they can really get a lot of damage off on you.
We do it my way.
No match for me.
Try to get Sela in there. There we go. Jeez, Woljif crit him for 36. There we go. Okay, so in this room, we'll see this.
So many plans and hopes have gone up in smoke along with this city, and so many are still yet to burn. Soon.
Yeah, people are talking about the door in there, saying you can dispel the magic rune. Yeah, I know I've gotten it open before. I've actually just lockpicked it in the past. Offhand, I don't know if I have anybody that has a dispel scroll. We might. I've been picking up all sorts of scrolls. Yeah, dispel magic. We'll see if that works.
My tail is restless.
Doesn't look like a scroll did anything. Well, we gave the dispel a shot, but it didn't seem like it worked. Okay, and then this room has a mobility check to cross a gap. People are asking what mythic path I had. We'll probably be going demon or trickster if we get that far. So if you fail that mobility check, you wind up getting dropped over here. Now this door actually leads to the room with that alchemist, and going up here will put us into towards the end of the second floor, really. Okay. Yeah, so if you, somebody mentioned that, I believe they, if you have the wizards with you helping you clear the Grey Garrison, they will open that door for you. I do remember that now that somebody mentioned it. I know I've lockpicked it before, though. Alright, so we're gonna save, and this is the other side of where that alchemist is. So I think we're gonna give this a shot, at least from this angle, and then...
the voice of the spirits.
Actually, I think we'll rest real quick, and then give it a shot. Oh, no, the enemies are too close. Alright, we'll go ahead and head up the stairs, then. We'll rest so I can get my summons back, and then we might try it from that angle. Now, opening this door leads to a fight, but it does allow you to catch them unaware. Now that Brimarack is the actual dangerous thing here.
They'll beg me to stop.
Yeah, those damn Brimaracks and their fireballs, man.
Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me.
Baraz asks if the encumbrance system is the same. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Your party has a carry weight. I believe in beta it's not really like actually affecting anything, so if I wanted to I could pick everything up. So that's why it says 0 right here. In beta it's not actually like affecting you at all. I think they didn't want to slow people down. But otherwise it works pretty much the same. And then Ken's Kennel says that he loves the videos, discovered him a couple months ago, has been really enjoying the reviews and story and lore videos, so thanks man, I appreciate it. And then, is there an AI setup in like Pillars of Eternity? There is not really an AI setup. You can click to toggle either just AI in general, but beyond that you like can right click a few spells to have them auto cast, but for the most part there's not anything approaching how much AI stuff you can do in like Pillars of Eternity now.
Ugh, what a failure.
So that is battle plans if you don't fail the check. Alright. Now we're gonna rest up. That's where we came out around the corner earlier. But we're gonna rest real quick. And then I think we're gonna try to kill that alchemist from the other side. Like go down through the secret path there, open the door, that way we can hit the alchemist,
We go into a
like,
tavern,
or at least we're closer to the alchemist. Then we're gonna see if that works. Alright.
I do what I must.
So first we're gonna save.
Obey your commands.
Then we're gonna buff everybody up.
My skills are absolute.
Don't mind me.
Yes?
Rely on me.
I will fight.
Something.
Yeah, there we go. There it is. Now we cleared that room. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, just coming in through this door was killing me, and it didn't seem like my skeletons were really doing much, and then, as you can see right there, that was way more effective. We absolutely decimated that dude. That was great. Okay, so... yeah, channel positive energy is super handy. Yeah, alright, so now we can loot this room now that we surprised that guy from the side and absolutely annihilated the dude. So that worked a lot better because, you know, we had just better access to the alchemist, so we could stop him from throwing those damn bombs, which were just destroying our party. And that is great because he actually drops a belt of dexterity, which, unlike Kingmaker, is a much rarer thing to find. So if we put it on him, he can't use it for whatever reason. Oh yeah, because I have Cat's Grace. Actually, that has nothing to do with it. So he's got Cat's Grace, so that's all. That spell would wear off normally, but Cat's Grace and stuff doesn't stack with armor like a lot of stuff doesn't. That said, I think Windu actually might make better use of that than he would. But she's also got Cat's Grace right now. But she has a lower AC, and she's going to get more out of that dex than he is, to be honest, I feel like. Yeah, at launch, I would say it's probably going to be better than Kingmaker was, because Kingmaker had a pretty rough launch, but I do still think there will be bugs and stuff, at least in the later part of the game, where they haven't had as much beta testing for sure. Okay, now we're going to circle back to that room where we failed the mobility check. And I think, because there is... I remember there being something decent to loot over here, but that is a really high mobility DC. Who has the highest mobility? What am I looking for? Where is that? Oh yeah, here we are, right in front of my face, as usual. Okay, so he's got +7 to mobility. 13. Okay, so Woljif has to roll a 7 or an up
I'm
to
here.
get past
Where
that,
else would I
so
be?
that shouldn't be too bad.
This is my kind of work.
Yeah, there we go. Guess I just had an unlucky roll when I hit that the first time. Oh, come on. He only had to roll a 5 and I still managed to lose. Jeez. That's RNG for you. Okay. Oh, so here's a bug, for instance. I'm actually not trying to turn the camera right now. It just gets tied to your mouse movement sometimes, so like it just does this. Which is usually fixed by just like opening a menu. But there are some tiny bugs like that, for instance.
Now
Okay.
what is that? I am helpful, am I not?
Alright. Yeah, so if my memory serves, we need to come through here, come through this door to get past this gap, and then that leads to the stairs up.
What do we
So
have
we're gonna
here?
clear these last couple rooms, and then we will be almost to the end of the Great Garrison.
I am helpful, am I not?
Okay, I want to say there's a Brimarack in here, but I honestly don't remember for sure.
Ask nicely.
So I think what we're gonna do is summon a fire elemental in here.
Can we retreat already?
No, okay, it's just fire. Of course, now Wolgift's right in the way. This is why we save. Well, that did not go well at all, but I think we might still be okay. We'll see. Yeah, so I tried to summon the fire elemental like way too far into the room, and he wound up aggroing everything. And at this point, I'm kind of just curious to see how this winds up playing out. Oh, wow.
I'll rip you apart!
I kind of figured I'd have to reload that, but that actually, like, it was a terrible way to clear that room, but it actually worked out. Felipe asked which difficulty I'm playing on. Nothing special. This is just normal. BG3 or Wrath of the Righteous, which am I more excited for release-wise? Well, Pathfinder launches like in a couple weeks, whereas BG3 probably won't launch for another year at least. So just by what is close alone, I'm definitely more excited for Wrath of the Righteous at the moment.
No reason to pause.
Looks pretty hard on normal. It can be, like, so something to keep in mind here. Like, I'm trying to keep things moving for the sake of this stream. Like, if I was actually putting more effort into this, I would be stopping and pausing every fight and actually trying to use, like, appropriate spells and stuff. Like, I, for instance, haven't used Sense Vitals one time. I'm not really trying to do anything magical with Wolgift. I'm just letting him sneak attack things. I'm barely casting anything with Ember, and she's, like, literally a mage. So, to keep it, like, even though this seems a little more difficult on normal, if I wasn't trying to keep this moving for the sake of it being a stream and actually like pausing and micromanaging these fights, it would probably go a little smoother overall, but honestly would probably be a little less entertaining. So here we are. Alright, so we gotta clear this room, come out this door, and then take these stairs up. Oh no, Ember's got the pox.
Restless. I wonder why.
Sometimes treat affliction will cure that stuff. Yeah, there we go. This has a bunch of ghouls in it, if my memory serves.
My tail is restless.
We're gonna give Woljif another chance to prove himself. There we go.
The heartbeat
Yeah, there it
quickens.
is. Okay, we're gonna pull Woljif back because he is not who I want on the front line there. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we can potentially clear this disgusting pile of body parts and re-bless this thing if you pass the check.
Did I fail?
Which we did not pass, but that's what happens if you do pass. Which I believe gives you one last chance to clear your corruption before you head up here, because up here is close to the end.
Why did you drag me here, you wench? To mock me one last time? Go on, finish me! Drink my blood, devour my soul! Just get on with it. Let me die at last.
Staunton, light of my life, don't be so silly. I could never hurt you. I brought you away from the battle to save you. My love, you don't belong in this grubby city where everyone hates you. Come away with me. You know I have always loved you.
You lying filth! You have the gall to say that to my face? But it was you. It was all you. You're the reason I lost everything. You're the reason why everyone despises me!
So it was me who brought shame upon you in front of the people you called friends? It was me who mocked you year after year, spat on you, forced you to do dirty, demeaning work like you were a drudge, and not the bravest of knights. No, it was all of them. The Crusaders and their witless queen. If you remember the day Dresden fell, I asked you to be its new ruler. You refused, of course, you and your principles. But look what's become of you.
They talk about love, but they are really talking about a terrible disaster. Like an earthquake, or a hurricane, or a shipwreck.
I'm sorry to say that there is truth in the demon's words. The Crusaders really have treated him terribly. I say this as a criminal who has been forgiven by other knights of Iomedae. But like all demons, she has built a mountain of lies and deception upon this one grain of truth.
Don't overcomplicate things. Truth, lies. This dwarf is a spineless worm. He prostrates himself before those who wipe their boots on him. And not because he hopes for better treatment, but because he enjoys debasing himself. If he really had to choose a side, the Crusaders or the demons, he would choose whoever caused him the most pain.
My offer still stands. Come away from here, my love. You will rule Dresden as a king, and I will be your queen.
So, we have the options of how to respond to this. Trying to debate whether or not I want to just spoil it. Like, just quick question. Let me know in the chat real quick. Do you guys want me to just spoil this? Because, like, sometimes I feel like talking about stuff, and then other times I try not to spoil for things, and, like, I don't know. Like, I don't really care about spoilers that much personally, but I know a lot of people think it's a big deal. So I can tell you guys how this plays out if you want here in a little bit. Or I could just let it be. Alright, well, I'm not seeing any complaints, so... Okay, yeah, nobody seems to care about the spoilers, so... I mean, to be fair, yeah, like, I feel like if you're watching this ahead of the launch, you probably wouldn't care about the spoilers anyway, but I felt like it was polite to ask, if nothing else. So, Staunton won't betray you right here, no matter what you say. However, here in like 20 minutes, when we have a boss fight with this chick, he will come to her aid and betray you then. So they're kind of burying the lead, no matter what you choose to pick here.
See? You're willing to give your life for these ungrateful swine, and they dare call you a traitor. They all despise you. I'm the only one who loves you. Dearest, it's all right. I'm here. We'll never be parted again. Let's go. Come.
Get back!
Curses! Stubborn as a mule. Never mind, my pet. Never mind. You won't get far. You will kiss this scratch and beg for forgiveness. You will be mine. Wholly, eternally, and willingly.
Alright, so then they both run off upstairs. So, we're about to have a boss fight with Minago there, and once you go to actually like strike the killing blow, Staunton comes in and saves her life and they run off. Katak says she should have said stubborn as a dwarf. That's a good point. That would have been funny. Little on the nose, maybe, but funny. Oh no, we forgot to loot Caleb, who had a warhammer and half plate. That. By the way, I just want to mention, this is something I actually really love about the Pathfinder games. When you go to leave the map, it just lets you loot everything that you might have missed. And then it only shows like secret caches and stuff if you actually found them. So like the stuff you didn't pass, like the perception checks and stuff to see, won't show up right here. But this is a feature that I just really enjoy. I think we got everything though. Seeing some Tyranny hate in the chat, that's unfortunate. Tyranny's such a great game. Okay, so now we gotta fight this giant thing.
They will break against our resolve.
I think we're just gonna see how just attacking it goes. Yeah, okay, that wasn't so bad. Like, we did a ton of damage to that thing. I was expecting that to be harder. Okay. Somebody asked if I was leaving all those masterworks behind, and yeah, I absolutely am. Okay, so there's a lore check, and then... So right past this mobility check is the last part of the dungeon, so we need to rest real quick before we do anything. Yeah, like, I wouldn't say Tyranny's a perfect game by any means. Like, it definitely has its problems. Overall, I wouldn't say character progression's by any means a big flaw of it, though. I actually enjoy it. Obsidian did develop Tyranny. They released it in between PoE 1 and PoE 2. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and save real quick just in case, but hopefully we can, we should, because, yeah, Wolf has 13 mobility, so I literally only need to roll a 1. I don't think it's possible for me to fail this.
Pretty good, aren't I?
Do I ever stream on my Twitch account? Not very often. Like, oh my god, so I keep forgetting to take that off my, my like lists of like channel links and everything. It's actually not on my channel page anymore, but like sometimes it's still in the description down below. I rarely stream on Twitch, just because I find managing Twitch chat more difficult than it is to manage YouTube's. Because YouTube's is super, super easy. Okay, so we've made it to the Ward Stone. We need to cleanse it of its corruption, lest it be permanently corrupted and take out all of the Ward Stones around the World Wound. So, we just need to interact with it, which brings us to this text event. Now, we can kind of get some information about it. And we can kind of see two sides of the angels that made it. And basically, this Ward Stone was made by angels. And if we have the Aeon with us, like if we retained their Aeon's powers, we can actually use this Mythic Path option to get the full story here. So, while the Ward Stone, what it does is protect the world against the demons, of course, it's worth mentioning that the way the Ward Stones were created was actually by imprisoning angels inside of them. So the Ward Stones do what they do by basically being a prison for angels. But we can fix that. So we can destroy the stone with all of the angels inside. If we take the angel mythic path, we can either quell the anger of the angry angels, we can cleanse the Ward Stone, destroying the angels that were destroyed to make it or whatever. If we have the Aeon Mythic Path available to us, which requires us to have retained it all the way back in Market Square, we can basically return the fallen celestials to their appropriate plane, as the Aeon would have wanted, because that's what Lawful is all about. We can use the Demon Mythic Path as well to destroy the Ward Stone altogether. So, personally, I think the Aeon Mythic Path is the way to go here. But that's just a personal choice. I'm just explaining the options. Personally, I like the Aeon Mythic Path, though. And then we kind of get the result there. And that brings us to boss battle. After a cutscene. So this is all the way back when we were brought to the square at the beginning of the game.
They're rejoicing like children. The storm is coming and none of them sees it.
Shall we add to their festivities, my lady? How about a little lightning to burn their flesh?
Oh no, Suture. We'll leave such frolics to Discari's little gnats. We are here for something else. Something I have greatly anticipated for a long, long time.
Just to catch up with chat real quick. Timo asked if I meant that YouTube chat behaves better or that Twitch moderation is technically more demanding. Basically that Twitch is more demanding in that sense. So on YouTube, I can actually set it to where like only subscribers can comment or anything in the chat, etc. Whereas Twitch just takes more effort, and it's also people that are less invested in my specific content. So it's more prone to people being less than amicable. So that's basically what I mean. And then Josh Johnson asked, would I make videos on how to get each Mythic Path? I have done that for all that are currently available in beta. All of my Mythic Path videos give a, hopefully as spoiler-free as possible, rundown of how to actually obtain that Mythic Path. There's a couple that aren't in the beta, and thus I haven't been able to go over yet, but that's about it. Okay, so we absorb the Wardstone's energy there, regardless of what happens.
I feel the power. Yes, I feel it.
What are you doing here? How? Ah, I see. Tricks from your pathetic goddess. So even Iomade will resort to dirty tricks when you have her cornered. Don't celebrate yet, mortal. There's no one to hide you from me now. Look, you're already wounded. Pathetic mortal. I'll have no trouble finishing you off now. You'll die anyway.
Okay, so regardless of what happens here, we're going to obviously get into a fight with Minago. This is really just an alignment choice, so we're gonna go evil because my guy is lawful evil.
Such disgusting things. Even imagining them repulses me.
Trying to be brave, are we? That's nice. But never dish out threats if you can't make good on them. Your goddess sent you to die. You think that's a victory? All you've done is postpone the deaths of all the other mortals. And not even for very long. But your wait for death is over. You won't see what I'm going to do to your little friends, because I'm going to kill you right now.
Okay. So for this fight, we have a buff, which is Mythic Power. Because this is the first part of the Mythic Path system. This is where we first encounter Divine Energy. So this is a very strong buff, which makes this fight pretty hard to lose. So answering a couple of things real quick. Yeah, so I'll do Swarm That Walks and Gold Dragon when the game actually launches and I have access to those things. Right now I don't, so I can't show them off. And then Sammy asked what my opinion is on patch 3. Overall, I think it's good. There were some bugs when it launched, but otherwise it's been pretty great, actually. Okay, so let's actually get to this fight. Again, this buff makes it very hard to lose this, but not impossible. So we're gonna cast Animate Dead around this Brimarack, because it is one of the more dangerous things in the room here. And then Wind to Oog is gonna focus on this second
No
Brimarack.
match for me.
And then we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so there we go.
You're doing that come.
So that fight is meant to be fun, more so than challenging.
No! To me!
Hence the ridiculous buff. But here's where Staunton betrays you, regardless of your earlier choice.
My darling, I knew you'd come back for me.
Shut it! Get over here now. Get behind me. Maybe you're right, but you won't change your mind either way. So why waste my time trying to convince you? No matter what he does, no matter what he says, Staunton Vane will always be considered a traitor. Well then, Staunton Vane will finally be the traitor you've always wanted. Enough talking. Monago, cast your spells and get out of here. I'll hold him off. Quickly, before I change my mind.
No, my sweet, I won't abandon you. We'll leave this place together, and we'll go where we can be happy.
Go. Let me finally. God damn it all! Let's go!
Okay. So first, loot, but I don't think they have anything good. Got to level up the pet earlier. Okay. So that is the first step on the Mythic Path. If these guys would stop running around, that would be great. Okay. So, that gives you the first Mythic level, which is what this M on our character screens is. So, that brings us to this. Now, this here on the left will show you everything that you've currently encountered. Right now, we haven't encountered Lich, Swarm That Walks, Gold Dragon, and Legend. So Lich is the only one that is actually available in the beta that we haven't encountered yet, and that is because it is not in Act 1. You don't encounter that until Act 2. Now, right now we have to pick Mythic Hero because these don't become available as choices until Mythic Path level 3. So for right now, we get Mythic Hero by default because that's like the first step on your journey. And there's also this slider, which I think is supposed to show you the visual changes to your character later on. However, obviously that's not here yet, but I think that's what that's supposed to be. Alright, so for our first Ascension, the big thing you get is Bypass Epic Damage Reduction, which allows you to actually injure anything that is immune to damage that's like regular. But we basically get to pick one of 6 abilities. This doesn't affect your Mythic Path choice at all. This is literally just a flavorful ability. When you get to level 3, regardless of what you pick here, you can still pick whatever Mythic Path you want. So I can pick Close to the Heavens and then still become a demon later. Now personally, of all of these abilities, I like Instrument of Freedom the most, because it just gives you an extra, like, pretty powerful attack. And also, you're fighting a lot of demons who are going to take holy damage. So there is also Force Reality, which is kind of the Aeon one that is just a really big dispel. There's the Dance Macabre, which does all of this, is a lot to heal, but basically it's like a channel energy thing. And then there's Close to the Heavens, which is a giant heal, or a foe if it's, damaged, but basically you can attack something. Close to the Abyss gives you a Horn attack, basically a gore attack, but it is made with a -5 penalty and deals damage 1.5 times your strength modifier plus piercing damage, and is considered cold iron. And then Bit of Fun lets you create 3 illusionary copies of yourselves for 1 minute, so just kind of a lot of cool stuff. Personally, I like Instrument of Freedom the most. Now, it is worth mentioning that this also affects the abilities you get at level 2. Again, nothing past level 3, mind you, but all of this, like right here, this will also be the stuff you get at level 2. So the demon will get to summon a Babao, whereas A bit of fun will let you summon a will-o-wisp. Close to the heavens lets you get a spirit paladin. Dance macabre lets you summon a specter. So that kind of stuff. Again, pretty basic, and most of it's very similar in power. So this really, outside of flavor, you should just do whatever you want. Personally, again, Instrument of Freedom. But more importantly, we also get to pick a mythic ability. These are super powerful, or at least they can be, mind you. For this particular guy, oh, and I also want to mention that people ask me this question a lot, so I want to mention it here. If you pick Ascendant Element, it will actually let you bypass all resistances and immunities, which is important because demons, which is a very primary enemy type of this campaign, are often just straight up immune to electricity and I believe it's fire. However, if you pick up this, you'll still be able to damage them with those things. Pet death is, yeah, so if your pet actually dies, the next time you rest, it just gets resurrected. They don't like permanently die or anything. You don't have to like pay to have them resurrected or anything like that. Okay. So for our main guy, since he is a melee guy, I like to pick up Leading Strike. So every time we hit a target in melee combat, we leave a mark on it, and then any ally attacking that marked target deals divine damage equal to 1d6 per mythic rank to the target, consuming the mark. So this is really good for melee characters because it'll let your other characters just deal more damage simply by hitting something that you are also hitting. I don't know why it mentioned our little companion pet there. Okay, and then that brings us to the companions. The companions don't get all the extra stuff. They get mythic abilities, mythic feats, and the epic damage reduction. So a little more simple overall. And then for her, I think Mythic Charge actually would probably be a pretty good way to go, because she's meant to be like our main tank type person for this particular run through anyway, so having her being able to charge and deal extra damage would not be a bad way to go. Then again, Abundant Smite's not a bad choice. That said, we haven't really been using Smite Evil that much, so I think we're going to go ahead and go with Mythic Charge for the time being. Okay, for her, I think we're going to pick up Leading Strikes with her as well. Now for Windoog, there's a lot of really cool ranged mythic abilities, like this one, where every time we deal critical damage with our ranged weapons, we reduce the, actually kill an enemy. We'll deal our weapon damage to all other enemies in a 10-foot radius, so that one's really good. Distracting shots will make AC penalties to enemies as you hit them. And then Expose Vulnerability will, every third hit with a ranged weapon deals an additional 1d6 per 2 mythic ranks of divine damage. So there's a ton of really cool ranged mythic abilities. Yeah, so if you have an animal companion, you can pick up Mythical Beast. So this will actually give them a bunch of attribute bonuses or ability score bonuses and damage reduction even. Or attacks that bypass damage reduction. So a lot of cool stuff there. That said, I think we are going to pick Cleaving Shot because that is a ridiculous amount of damage. For Woljif, think leading strikes actually wouldn't be too bad for him either, because he's also melee, primarily. And then for Ember, she does a ton of fire damage, so I would honestly recommend Ascendant Element Fire, so all of her fire damage hits demons and stuff still. Alright, and then as soon as we leave, that is the end of Act 1, really. So we'll go ahead and play through that.
Make way. Warrior Queen coming through with a round for the heroes. Whoa, the heart is packed.
And you considered nixing this little shindig, Beth?
I did consider it, and I am still considering it. It hasn't even been a week since the last demon was booted out of Canoblis. And we really should be in a period of mourning for all the city's fallen. But the people deserve to celebrate. And he deserves to be honored for saving the city, and possibly all of Mendev.
One hell of a fight calls for one hell of a party.
According to the Watch reports, there has been no demon activity whatsoever outside Canoblis. I get the feeling the fiends are as shocked by what happened as we are. What happened in the Garrison, what you did, it was a miracle. I truly believe that the gods remembered us and decided to intervene.
Beth, come on, you agreed. No serious business today.
All right, I'm done. No more. Who would have thought we'd be celebrating a successful attack on the Grey Garrison, our own fortress, and that we'd blow the roof off the place?
It's simply unforgivable.
While we're on the topic of the roof, there's already a rumor going around that you have been blessed by Iomade herself. And it was her power granted to you that destroyed the garrison's walls and roof. And it turns out the people want a little piece of that blessing for themselves. The townsfolk are gathering chunks of the garrison's rubble as souvenirs and talismans. And I'm sure they'll hit the black market soon enough. Oh, yeah. Here, breathe on this for me. Nice. I'll put it on display at home. Or maybe I'll make a hole in it and wear it as a pendant.
Nevi! What are you on about now?
What do you mean? Do you see many people at this table who've been personally blessed by Iomade herself?
Well, a couple perhaps. Iomade's blessings are not conveyed through stones, and as public officials, we really shouldn't.
I feel a little chastened after what you said about public officials. But I myself have acquired a few pieces of stone, and also wish to ask our hero to breathe on them for good luck. So, what now? Are you going to toss me out of this fine establishment?
Your Majesty.
Yes, it is I. I made the journey here to deduct the cost of repairing the garrison roof from your salary. We have not been introduced. Galfrey of Mendev. Thank you for the compliment. So, this is what he looks like. The one all Mendev is talking about. News of your deeds reached me even before my messengers could.
Your Majesty, we were just... I'll have them arrange.
Yeah, as far as I know, the Mythic Paths are definitely missable. Like, the only ones that aren't missable are Demon and Angel, because those happen regardless. But every other one, you have to go through the very specific things that most of which I've mentioned in this like stream playthrough as of now, besides Lich, because we haven't gotten to it yet. But from what I understand, they are very much so missable. I haven't seen any repeats anywhere.
Calm yourself, Commander. I deliberately came here without any fanfare because I did not wish to draw attention away from our honored hero here. My personal guard and the force I brought with me are standing watch outside the city. I ordered all your sentries to stand down. They also deserve a break. Every person who tirelessly fought to save Canobris will enjoy themselves today. And my reinforcements will ensure peace and order.
Yeah, Tim is correct in the chat. So you can unlock all of them. As you saw, I had all the options there when I was browsing through Mythic choices. As long as you encounter them, they'll be available for you to pick and lock in a choice at the end of Act 3, but even that's not necessarily final. Because you don't get Swarm That Walks or Gold Dragon until Act 5. Now, I don't have any information on those, so nothing I can really tell you beyond that, but that's kind of the information available at the moment.
Please, don't your majesty me. We are in a tavern, not my court in Nerosian. Address me as you would any comrade in arms. Concerning the celebration, as you can see, I already invited myself. I couldn't pass up the chance to meet the new hero all the Crusaders are talking about, and soon, not just Crusaders. Oh, I do not doubt that, even for a moment. But we will not give them another chance to catch us off our guard. It is time to turn back the tide.
Your Majesty, my dear cousin.
Count, I admit I was surprised to learn that you valiantly joined the ranks of the city's defenders. Pleasantly surprised.
I live to please you, my queen. My first thought when Daskari cruelly robbed us of noble Terendelev and half of Canabris' crusaders in one fell swoop was of you, my queen, and of how these events would weigh heavily on you. No one could have foreseen the demon attack, and we have so successfully held the defense here for 4 heroic crusades.
I'm going to drown him in the nearest well this very night.
I value your dedication and your eloquence. I hope you will continue to aid our soldiers.
Not a chance. You know that I am not made for the front lines. Excellent bash, but alas, I really must go. Important matters to be getting on with. A new shipment of wine from Kionin and 3 beautiful creatures of the same provenance. But I will most assuredly come to say my farewells before your army departs on its campaign, which, wherever it may lead you, will undoubtedly be crowned with victory.
I shall hold you to that, Count. And now allow me to devote some time to the hero of the evening. I did not come here solely to give you this chance to celebrate, but all serious discussions and official announcements can wait until tomorrow. I have big plans for all of you, especially for you. But I want to keep you in suspense for a little while longer, so I shan't say another word. Let us mark this victory. My first toast is to you, the hero of Canabris. Now, what are we drinking?
The fires of Canabris have died down. Now the army's path leads to the walls of Dresden, a fallen citadel that the Crusaders have been trying in vain to reclaim for 70 years. The new piece on the board might give their efforts some added momentum.
Rise, warriors. Today is a day of sorrow and pride. Sorrow because we weep for our brothers and sisters who perished in Canabris. Pride because despite demonic treachery, our heroes repelled the attack and saved the city. I, Queen Godfrey of Mendev, declare this day the first day of the 5th Crusade. And I am glad to introduce the one who will lead the attack on the forces of the Abyss. The hero of Canabris, Knight Commander of the 5th Crusade. Your leader from now unto victory or death. And now it's time to rest. Everyone is dismissed. There, the troop review is finished. I'll give you some time to look around the camp, and then I shall expect your presence at headquarters.
This is random, but I want to mention this. That updating equipment tutorial is wrong all the time. Like, about telling you what's supposedly an upgrade over what. A lot of times it's like of equal value and not necessarily better. Like those bracers of armor +1 and engraved lucky bracers do almost exactly the same thing. So like this one gives us engraved lucky bracers. This gives us a +1 luck bonus to AC, whereas this gives us a +1 armor bonus to AC, which means you'd want one of those in one situation and one in another. One of those is not necessarily better than the other one, which is just a random complaint. But I think that's where we're gonna call it for today. I actually have a few other things to do, but before I go, if you guys have any more questions about Mythic Path, feel free to ask them in the chat, and I will spend a few minutes answering those if anybody has anything super specific. Nicola says, nice stream and your videos are cool, man. By the way, can you reinforce your army, or do you need to take new soldiers and then merge them with your first army? So you can have multiple armies going at the same time, or you can merge them together. That's pretty much how it's done. Do luck bonuses stack? I believe they do, off the top of my head. Let me double check. No, luck bonuses don't stack, actually. Where's the Mythic Path for the 100%er? Good question, maybe I'll find out. So, do we know anything about the Mythic Path that he mentioned in that comment that I'm not going to say out loud? No. It is something that has been data mined, but is not appear in the UI or anything. I have no idea if that'll make it into the final game. I've been pretty deliberately ignoring talking about it, specifically because it's just something that has been found in the files. It might even be like something they scrapped, but as best I can tell, it is not here. That's not to say it won't be. Who knows what they'll do with the final release build. Maybe they'll want to supply everybody. Surprise everybody. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but as of right now, I have absolutely nothing concrete to say about it. Alrighty. Well, it looks like everybody's questions for the moment, at least. So that's going to do it, guys. I have some stuff to edit to get up for tomorrow as well, but I wanted to say thanks everybody for watching. I really do appreciate it. You know, I know I say it all the time at the end of basically every video, but honestly, we are growing a just ridiculous amount. It kind of blows me away every single time. So, truly, thank you guys. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.